And give yourself a couple of breaths, especially trying to find equal inhale, equal exhale. It's nice and easy, breathing in, breathing out. Just keep that easy breath flowing while we take a moment to connect with our intention today. This is the week of our spring equinox. I love that week because it always reminds me to come back to balance. And so the way that we're going to play with balance in today's class is balance between feminine and masculine. So think of the masculine as the summer heat. It's that warming, action-based, very much doing, fiery type quality. Versus the feminine, it's like the winter, the cool, the nurturing, the stay inside and just kind of cuddle up because that's what the body's asking for. It's going slower and it's being more. So it's kind of that balance between doing and being. And so that's the balance I'd like to play with in our class today. And so there will be different times that we're doing several of those masculine things back to back to back, getting some warmth in our body, getting some strength, pumping our blood, all that stuff. And then we're going to kind of immediately contrast that with a yin pose where we're holding in a nice stretch and just letting those muscles get longer. It's a really good stretch and we'll hold it for an extended period of time so that we can feel that contrast between doing and being. And so that'll be our theme that leads us into class today. So with that, to get us started, let's begin taking the knees into the chest here. Just be nice and easy. Easy rocking around for that low back, rocking around on the hips. Just tuning into what the body wants and what it needs for this moment. We'll actually start our class today with one of those feminine yin poses. This will give our muscles a chance to get kind of a little bit longer before we start using them. So let's start off with our cat chasing the tail pose. Our knees are going to tilt over to the right side. And this is an okay place to stop, just spreading the arms open. If you feel like you can handle the next step, the next option would be straightening that top leg out to the side, so left leg going straighter. Maybe this right hand slides down the leg, getting it into a good stretch. And then the third option you don't have to take, but you could grab the bottom toes with that left hand. Tuning into that, perhaps see how that area wants to open. Wherever we ended up, we're going to pause just a little bit longer. That'll be how we take our yin poses today, just holding a little bit longer than we normally do. So that means if you start to realize, oh, I'm not really in the stretch anymore, readjust in a way that feels hopeful, such as maybe this knee is a little bit bent, maybe you try to straighten it out instead. Or maybe that bottom leg isn't really in a stretch, so you scoot the knee further down. Either way, let's try to take 3 more good, deep, relaxing breaths. Trying to keep the breath as slow as possible. And one more inhale. Exhale. Take some time as you return your hips back to the ground. And then let yourself rock just nice and easy left and right again. This rocking, after being in an extended stretch, you're in that stretch for an extended period of time. Sometimes the muscles don't immediately want to go to anything else, so the rocking is really helpful to help everything integrate back to the center. Good, so when that's ready, let's take the knees over to left. Maybe the top leg straightens out. You don't have to do that. Maybe left hand slides up the back of the leg. Only if it's helpful, maybe right hand grabs the bottom toes, setting that knee at a good angle. Good, wherever we ended up, Going to just pause while this side gets equal opportunity to just lengthen. Maybe 3 more breaths. When you wrap up the third one, we'll do that easy rocking of the hips on the ground again. A chance to kind of feel how this is. Easing into it. Good. So that was our first feminine piece. Now we're going to go straight into a couple of back-to-back things, getting masculine. So hands come up to pick up the weight of the head. And then from here, twist the right elbow toward left knee. This right leg hovers out above the ground. Then we exhale, switching the leg. Exhale, switch. Exhale, switch. Just nice and easy back and forth. If you ever need to make it easier, let the angle of the toes be higher. Harder is above the ground. So you choose. We're continuing this just a bit longer. Here's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. And then from here, as you release your head down, plant the feet close to the glutes. Let's take bridge pose and stay lifted up. So lift up the hips. Maybe clasp hands under the back, walking shoulders under if you make the clasp. And notice the knees. The knees naturally want to splay open because that takes the muscle effort out of this. So instead, keep the knees not touching, but keep them in line with hips and ankles. And then from there, just feel a good lift. Three more breaths. Nice inhale. Exhale, release hands. Return the hips back down. Good. And then from here, let's go bringing straight legs all the way up to the sky. So from that spot, I oftentimes will take my thumbs to tuck right under the hips. So that makes it so my low back stays on the ground. So then from here, nice straight legs. Let's begin to lower. We lower with an exhale and then raise up with an inhale. You choose how far down you go. Going less far is easier. Further is harder, but don't lift the low back off the ground. Hear me repeat that over and over in Yogilates. That's one of the biggest rules we can do to make sure low back doesn't get into pain. Keep the breath flowing with you. And if you're doing okay, let's take 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. Let's bring bottoms of feet together. Let the knees open. We're taking a couple of breaths. Maybe hands are resting on belly, or maybe we're grabbing elbows, letting the arms rise up above head. So whatever feels best for hips and low back. And a few good breaths. Feel how as we shift between masculine and feminine, we're essentially within our bodies. We're going from faster heart rate, a lot more breathing, down to that slow breath. So see if you can help the heart rate slow. Let the breath slow. And we'll just take 3 more beautiful breath cycles right here. So here we're gonna flip over onto one side. I personally am laying on my right side, so if you want to copy me, that's fine. But as long as I'm gonna use the terms up and down so that way you know. So this is the up leg, that left one for me. Let the leg swivel in slightly, an angle like a banana. Top thigh rotates up. And so from here, do a quick exhale to kick the leg up. Slow inhale to lower down. Let's repeat that. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Rest for just a breath. A nice inhale. Exhale. Good. Top leg lifts in line with the hip, and we're doing some nice circles. Resistance, and then smush the knees together like we're smushing molasses out of the clamshell. And here's 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. We're turning onto our back. That left ankle, or whichever leg was your top leg, comes up onto right thigh. And then let's give it a nice hug. We're inviting it in, stretching the spots that we're just working. We're gonna stay a little bit longer here than we normally do because those muscles were just so deeply stretching and expanding for us. So if this is hitting the perfect spot, this is where you'll continue to stay. This is a great, amazing place. If it helps you to get into that hip IT band a little bit better, to keep the legs in this unit and let them fall over to the right, that would be another option. The idea is to stretch kind of that fire, that flame that we just tapped into our hip, kind of stretch it out. So it's almost like we're adding the water element. Fire is very masculine. It gets things done. It's transformative. Water is more feminine. It's cooling. It's healing. And so after we just tapped into that fire, let's get into that water, whatever spot feels best. And let's take another 3 breaths. Good. As we release, we're going to take it on the second side. I personally am flipping around to make it so I can face you. And the legs are swiveling in. Top thigh rotates up. We try to keep the torso very solid, so don't forget the engagement of the core here. And then when you're ready, a nice exhale brings us up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Take a full breath in and out. Top leg level with hip, 10 circles. Going for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the leg down, bend the knees in. Take another good breath in and out. Okay, clamshells through molasses. The top knee lifts and rotates, and then squeeze it together. Repeating 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. From here, return onto your back. Take that left ankle, or for me, right ankle onto left thigh, or whichever leg was the one that you're just working, take that ankle up. Let's give it a threading hug. And already start to feel that heat, that warmth through the outer hip. Let's start to introduce some of that healing, cooling, nurturing water element. Deep, slow breaths, heart starting to calm. This is the spot where you can either stay or let the legs tilt over to the left if your right ankle is up. Taking 3 more good breaths in and out. Good. As we release, we're on our back. So from here, we're going to roll like a ball and try to balance at the top. We're doing this 5 times. So know that the easier version is going to be the knees much more bent. The toes will end up just barely above the ground. A lot harder is to try to take the legs straight from here and try to find that place to balance with straighter legs. You could also find a nice in-between spot. So we're going to try to go for 5. So if you need to prep yourself winding back just a little bit, that's okay. And then rock up, try to find the balance. That was 5. And heading back. 4. 3, 2, and 1. Good. From here, hands either hover or hands come behind. Either way is fine. We're going to pedal out our legs. Going for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bottoms of feet together like a cobbler's pose. Before we go into cobbler, let's work our shoulders just a little bit, taking them to a nice 90 degree. Start to pull the elbows back. We're squeezing shoulder blades together. You should feel a stretch on the front of the shoulders. And then exhale, touch forearms together. Round the spine back just a little bit. Inhales. Exhales. Follow that breath. Taking another 5 sets. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Now we just get to relax in our cobbler's pose. Especially think of the head really weighing its way down so that the back of the neck can be in a nice stretch. And our time will be there just a bit longer. Beautiful. As we rise up, bring the knees upward. We're planting the feet in front of us and planting the hands behind us. We're lifting the hips up. And then from here, we bend the elbows and straighten the elbows. That's a tricep dip. So going for 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. Setting the hips back down, taking it into a boat pose. If this is enough to just stay, that's fine. Otherwise, fingers up to sky. Inhale. Exhale, hands to one side. Knees can kind of tilt away from where the hands are. Inhale. Exhale, switch. Here's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Legs straight out in front of us. Arms out in front of us. We're going to round back to the spot where we still have control and then just straighten the spine back up. So use your exhale and inhale. If you're doing okay, take another 5, 4, 3, keep the breath flowing, 2, 1. Good work, giving those shoulders a little stretch. We're going to try to maintain a tallness through our core. Bent knees can help, but right arm goes across our body. Pull it into a nice stretch. Maybe head tilts over to left. Good, open it out. Still tall through our spine. Left arm goes across, maybe head tilts to right. Good, release. Open up the legs, and we're gonna take one of those feminine moments to just stretch, letting the legs open up wide. Let's see about walking forward and through. Sometimes it's easier than other times, so don't feel like you're forcing your glutes off the ground. Especially pay attention to second toes, trying to keep that engaged, just point up rather than forward or backward. So a couple more breaths right here in the center. And we can try to walk the hands surrounding the right leg. Try to make sure both the toes stay up. We're not lifting the left hip off the ground, it's staying grounded. And then we just simply lean to this right side. Walk back through the center, over to the other direction. Just pause and breathe. Good, and going back through the center, maybe there's a little bit more space to inch forward. Take another really good breath in and out. Good, walking back in. Let's head on to hands and knees. Let's take 3 rounds of cat-cow, just making sure that our spine is still feeling good. Go nice and slow, moving both head and tailbone. Good. Reverse our way up. 2 more. And 1. Good, spine to neutral. Let's take our right leg back behind us. Knee is bent so that the foot is over knee. We're gonna pump that up and down 10 times, lean into the glute. Here's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the right knee down. Let the hips wag left and right just a moment. Good, and then back through neutral. Left foot up. Going for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dropping that knee down. This next one has 2 options. The option that's a little easier, especially on the wrists, would be to just, from this kneeling position, take your right knee to try to touch that right shoulder, and then left knee to try to touch left shoulder. So that would be option 1. The harder option is going through plank, trying to be here, and then Spider-Man. Right knee up, left knee up. Whatever option, let's get into it. Here's 10. Breathing, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Either kneeling plank or full plank, lower down to the ground. From here, hands hover, and then with our inhales, the shoulders and the legs lift. Exhales, lower down. Here's 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Take the elbows right underneath our shoulders. And instead of being active here, which you can for another moment or two, just feel those abs stretching. But instead of staying there today the version that we'll take of the Sphinx is just collapsing into the skeleton. So collapse into the shoulders. Even let the head just drop heavy, stretching the back of the neck. Just pause here for a little while. Lifting head, engaging shoulders, swivel the left hand in. Right hand is going to try to aim for those right toes, pulling us in for a quad stretch. And release. Second side. And as we release, let's take just another moment for a nice shoulder stretch. So right arm goes up to the right cheek is down. Press into the left hand until we feel that right shoulder stretch. So some of us can maybe get to hip stacking. Sometimes that top leg can rotate back. So it all depends on how much that right shoulder wants you to stretch. Good. Dropping down, switch off the arms. So now left arm is to the left cheek is down. Press into the right hand until you feel left shoulder starting to stretch. Maybe hip stack, maybe top leg rotates back. It's all up to your body. Good inhale. Exhale, hips down to floor. Let's take a couple of breaths, shifting back into child's pose. Give those back muscles a chance to really stretch out nicely. Okay, so we're about to head into kind of the peak of the class. This is going to be several hard things back to back to back. Try to stick with it, but take breaks if needed. This is going to lead us up to some nice standing things that work on balance, it works on leg strength, it works on all sorts of goodies. So getting us through this intense kind of peak of class. We're going to start off from downward facing dog. So tuck toes, lift hips. So from here, right leg is going to float up to sky, and then bring knee to nose, shifting into plank. Repeating that 4, three-legged dog, and knee to nose. 3, 2, 1, and reach it up to step that right foot in between hands. So from here, try to keep the back heel lifting up as we bring ourselves upright. The front knee still bent. Arms can be out to left and right, just like balancing beams, helping us to balance here. And then from here, back knee bends. It goes closer to the ground. And then back knee straightens. Let's take that another 4, 3, 2, 1, back heel rotates down, arms float up to the sky. We're gonna alternate between warrior 1, warrior 2, and warrior 3. These are very masculine poses. We don't have to try to think about it, but warrior 1 is as if we're grabbing the arrow out of our sack. Rotate up into warrior 2. It's like we're pulling that arrow into the bow. And then now into warrior 3, we are the arrow trying to fly. Good, so land back. We're gonna repeat that 4 times. Warrior 1, warrior 2, warrior 3, repeating 3, and 2, and 1. Land into goddess pose. You're turning your knees out to the sides. We're doing arm circles. Knees go up and down. Here's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Face back over your front foot. Take the arms up in front of you. And then exhale, balance on your front foot, taking that back knee forward. And touch. Repeating 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Try to stay. Either rotate that leg open into tree pose, so that left foot coming up to the right thigh, or take left ankle onto the right thigh and squat down, bending the standing leg. Either way, we're starting to slow our heart down. Take 3 slow breaths. Nice inhale. Exhale, coming back up. Step that left foot back. What we're going to do is take a slow progression from pyramid pose, gradually down, closer and closer to the splits. You don't have to go the full way. In fact, you could stay with pyramid pose and just do that. That would be perfectly fine. If you wanted to progress closer to splits, you could drop the back knee down. You could stay lifted. It's whatever's going to work for your body. I'm going to turn this way and make sure hips stay forward. And let's begin to slide down the front leg. Hands don't make it to the floor, don't force it. If you're there, let's take at least a couple of several good deep breaths, allowing the muscle fibers to start to be happy to elongate. That masculine sequence we just did on one side is really warming for those muscles. The breath flowing, slowing it down. From here, if you want to work closer to splits, either inch the front toes forward or hop that foot back a little bit. I would recommend pausing. Let the muscles readjust to this step. Just take it nice and easy like that. Just inch a little bit, then pause to see how the body likes the new spot. Inch and pause. Let's work our way toward about as deep as we want to go for this side. We're gonna be here about 5 slow breaths. Try to be with me, extra slow. More. For that last one, take the front foot back. Sometimes it's nice to kind of shake that right leg out, getting that hamstring nice and loose. Good, and before we switch sides, let's take a dolphin pose. Elbows down, tuck the toes, lift the hips up. Let's try to be here a couple of good breaths. If you need to drop down to child before me, that's okay. Maybe 3 more good breaths. After all 3, feel free to settle into child pose, making sure your heart rate is nice and calm before we take that second side with the hard masculine sequence. One more breath, extra slow, all the way in. and all the way out. Good. We're ready. Let's take our way up to down dog one more time. Maybe a couple of breaths just to help the legs feel like they're more and more willing to do this, to be here. And then when you're ready, left leg lifts, three-legged dog. Take it to plank, knee to nose. Returning up. Here's 4, 3, 2, 1, and step that foot in between hands. We're trying to keep the back heel lifting. Torso rises up, maybe arms like balance beams off to each side. Back knee drops down and up. Repeating 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Back heel down, warrior 1. Rotating open to warrior 2. And shooting forward, warrior 3. Let's take that 5. 4. It's okay if you're faster or slower than me. 3. 2. 1. Good. Land into goddess. Up and down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're almost there. Turn back over your front leg. Arms float up. And launch your back knee to float in front. And touch. Here's 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Amazing work. We're trying to balance either right leg open in tree pose or right ankle to left thigh. Trying to squat the standing leg down. Couple more breaths. Start the process of heart slowing down. We finished all the masculine hard work for today, so the rest is just the nice stretching. So 2 more breaths. When we rise up, step the right foot back, hips forward, pyramid pose down. Maybe you end up on the shin, maybe you go to floor. Either way, let's give it some time right here before we begin to go deeper if we want to go deeper. So that heart alive in our system, good cardio that we found. More breaths, just easy right here. And if you want to start inching your way further, remember there's no rush. Take your time, helping the muscles find each new position. Always drop to the back knee if you get further down, closer to the ground. Good, and we're about at our deep spot, so let's take 5 more slow breaths. Let's inhale. Exhale. Taking this leg back, maybe shake out the hamstrings just a couple of times. And as we find an easy seated position, I personally can set my forehead on the ground. So if you can do that too, clasp your hands behind you and then pull your arms into a shoulder stretch as you bow forward. If that's too much, you can just stay upright and just pull the shoulders open, squeeze back, and that's just as good of a stretch. So don't feel like you have to bow down. Either way, shoulders are opening, a couple of breaths. Release, we can rise up. Let's take our right arm across our body, pulling it into a nice shoulder stretch. Maybe head tilts over to left. And open. Left arm across. And open. Leave the left leg down in front of you. Right leg tries to cross over. From there, we take a twist. So left hand or left elbow hooks. Posture sets up tall, and then we spiral into that nice twist. Good, returning forward. See if you can set up a knee stack. If not, go a little bit wider to shin stack or cross leg. Take a couple of breaths, leaning forward, getting deep into those hips. Good, switch it out. Now right leg is down, left leg crosses over. Right hand or right elbow hooks, posture's tall, and then spiral. Turn forward, maybe knee stack or shin stack, and relax down. Good, inhale. Exhale as we arise. We're going to slowly make our way down onto our backs. So see if you can engage your core, go nice and slow. Once you're down, if there's any last movements you need, take it. Maybe it's a twist, maybe it's a happy baby, maybe it's the threading the needle triangle shape. Getting into that hip one more time. It's whatever feels helpful, just enjoying a couple more breaths. Feeling that heart rate continue to slow down, preparing us for our beautiful Shavasana to come. There's no rush to get into Shavasana, but when you know it's time, sooner or later, you'll find your way easing down into a comfortable shape. And here's a place where we're neither forcing the masculine action, the doing, nor forcing ourselves into a deep stretch. So this is a beautiful place to ease into that place of being. We're not forcing action into our breath. Rather, we're just letting our breath be. Sooner or later, when you're there, when you're ready, make sure to take just easy breaths, letting the breath be. Staying with the breath, take 2 or 3 more good deep cycles just laying here. And then begin to introduce little wiggles to the fingers, to the toes, ankles and wrists. Stretching out like we're waking up first thing in the morning. As we head to a nice fetal position on one side, let's take extra time, a good 4, maybe 5 breaths, really feeling this feminine quality of release. Relaxation, this peaceful state. And then when you feel ready to rise, we'll make our way up. As hands join together in front of the heart, imagine that feminine and that masculine joining together. It's the summer and the winter in perfect balance right in the middle. It's the fire, it's the water, the sun and the moon, the light and the darkness, the yin and the yang, the healing and the action, the doing and the being. So just notice in your own system, is there any way that we can bring these aspects into greater balance? Do we have a tendency to have more action, less resting? Or are we the opposite, more almost like a couch potato and not enough doing? It's not that we need to go to either extreme. It's that perfect balance in the middle that's helpful. And so with this type of balance, inspired by the spring equinox to lead us on, let's wrap up the time we got to share together with the sound of Om. Deep inhale now. Om. May we be filled with light and happiness and peace. Namaste.